His body's ready.
I'm not full chud yet, but
that's true. We're live now. Welcome to the THS Lives. We're with, as always, Jared and Mike, and tonight we have a special guest, Vince DiSanti, who made what movie?
I don't know. What did I do?
Sister Act 2.
I directed the new It. No, no, I directed Never Hike Alone.
Never Hike Alone. That's right.
Friday the 13th fan film.
Fan film.
And it's a fine fan film. I actually have it playing on my Xbox right now in front of me.
For inspiration.
He's talking to the camera right now.
As he does.
He hasn't found the camp yet. It's about a rock.
Oh, he's climbing the rock. That's one of my. That's a fun scene.
Yeah. Now he's piling sticks together.
Yep. He's about.
So I could go through the whole movie while we're doing this, but let's talk about other things. Like
let's do it.
Look, Mike, do you want to plug your movie?
Plug.
Doomsday? Yeah, Doomsday.
Yes, you guys should go to screamteamreleasing.com if you're so inclined. I can help you your wallet lose some weight. You can pick up a copy of I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday on Blu-ray, DVD, or VHS. I think there's still some VHS left. But Christmas in July is coming up.
Yes,
you know, that's when everyone breaks out their copy of their favorite independent post-apocalyptic Christmas movie. So if you want to kick off some existential despair, bring home the magic of the apocalypse to your family with I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday. Also available on Amazon.com.
Why don't you just make a commercial?
I actually was thinking about doing that earlier. It's just very hard to advertise something so grim, you know, in a goofy way, and then not have people expect it to be a fun.
Well, I think our video we made for the giveaway was pretty good. So
I think it was just on point where people really knew what to expect.
Yeah,
a little bit.
And then Vince is here, and he's got something to plug as well.
Yeah, right now, I mean, a lot of Friday the 13th fans out there came and backed our first edition Never Hike Alone Blu-ray campaign last year. We sold over 1,750 copies of it, but over the course of the year, the number of views like tripled, and I got more and more people like writing me saying, "Oh, I wanted a copy. Like, how do I get one?" And I had a couple in reserve, and I sold some on the back end. But since there were so many names, I ended up doing a second edition, and that's what's going on right now on Indiegogo, the second edition Never Hike Alone Blu-ray campaign. We've already hit our goal, so we're guaranteed to deliver. We're going to start production. I'm going to call the guys and submit everything on Monday, so we're going to get ahead of the schedule. Right now we're at $14,000, $143. So we're still pushing. This is basically going to fund the production of not only the Blu-rays, but we're also working on a new independent short called Pathosis, which is going to be directed by a good friend of mine, Austin Bonang. And he and I are working together on it. I'm producing, he's directing, and the Womp Stomp team is putting it together. We're going to shoot it this summer. And then additional funds beyond that, if we can get up to $30,000. Right now we're about halfway through the campaign. We got like 18, 17 days left. But if we can get it closer to $30,000, it's going to start kind of a slush fund for a future unnamed Ghost Jason project that we will announce if we hit 30,000. If not, you guys are gonna have to wait till later this summer when we're ready for our official press release.
Nice.
You say it's unnamed.
It has a name.
I know.
It has a name.
Make it squirm a little bit.
Yeah, I know. But if the people, if what?
Was that close with Sister Act?
Yes, very close.
I knew it.
God
See,
damn
all the clues were there and Never Hike Alone. I knew it. I was like,
"You're worse than the Pet Cemetery trailer, Mike."
Yeah, I'm a spoiler machine.
It has a name.
But, I figured
it has a name.
Thought that no one saw that Whoopi cameo in the background, but I freeze framed that shit.
Blew it up, enhance.
It's a habit of mine, if you
will. Back in there.
Nice.
Can you tell us anything about Pathosis?
Yeah, Pathosis is something that came out of the mind of Austin Bonang. Austin's been a good friend of mine for a long time. He's actually one of my first roommates when I moved out to LA. He's a previs artist who works at a place called The Third Floor, and he designs a lot of the camera works for the major motion pictures that people see today. Like, he did work on Godzilla King of the Monsters, which is coming out in 2 months. He won a VES award for designing the Time in a Bottle Quicksilver sequence in one of the first class X-Men movies. So the one where Quicksilver's running around the room and pushing stuff out of the way and saving people. He designed a lot of the camera camera work for that. So he came up with this concept of, a woman who's struggling from mental illness decides that she's going to take a night off of her medication, which has some serious side effects, and has to deal with kind of the side effects of not taking her medication. So I always describe it as, imagine a film about, you have to get up in the middle of the night and you're scared to walk down the hallway and go to the bathroom. Well, imagine what that's like for somebody with suffering from a psychosis and what could happen when they have an episode. So it's a lot of, it's a really like, it's a mind screw of a movie. Like, it's like, what is real? What is not real? What is she seeing? Can she overcome it? And what are the consequences of her kind of not taking her pill? So if you go to the Womp Stomp film page or our stuff, you can see the Pathosis. I believe there's an Indiegogo that we did that has a trailer that you can see. And if you go to the Womp Stomp Films YouTube, you can see the previs trailer that we've done. So you can kind of see how Austin starts to do his work. And we've been prevising it all this time. We ran a Kickstarter, an Indiegogo a few months ago. We didn't raise all of the goal because we didn't have Jason Voorhees in it. So we figured, hey, you know what? Everyone said like, hey, you guys did a great job working on Jason. Why don't you do something original? Well, we found something that we wanted to do. And we hope fans trust us that like we picked a really cool idea. We're going to shoot it this summer. We're hoping to get it into all the festivals for the fall. And then once we get out of the way, that's when we get all the festivals run, and that's off and running. We're going to start putting that hockey mask back to work.
And that's one of the scariest things is, mental instability.
Yeah. No, yeah. And it's a really cool concept. I mean, it's a really simple short. I mean, it's probably going to be maybe 15 minutes. And we got some really cool sequences. A lot of it is we want to show off some of our prowess, the things that we've developed since Never Hike Alone. I mean, Never Hike Alone was great. It was a challenge. We did the best that we could with what we had, and we scratched and we scrounged and we got whatever camera we could for a weekend and doing that. And Pathosis is actually going to be one of our first opportunities to go out, get shoot something over a weekend with one specific camera package, one specific direction, a lot of high production value. And that's really what we're going for, is the highest production value short that we can make with some really high level effects kills. Well, I wouldn't say effects kills, but effect sequences that this person's going through that, it's going to scare you. It's going to make you want to, anyone who watches the short and then has to get up in the middle of the night to go anywhere in their house, they're going to think twice. And that's kind of what this is about, because it relates to something that we all deal with, I think, on a daily basis. If anyone gets up like I do and like midnight, you start walking around like, oh, what the hell is over there?
I just wear adult diapers, personally. I mean,
yeah, there you go. Just pee your bed.
That's just how I deal with it. And that was just after reading the synopsis. So, fuck knows what'll happen when I see the movie.
Yeah, right. No, it's cool. And Austin's a great guy, and he's a good director. He's really smart. He's been doing this for a long time. I've been working on my own projects. So I really, when we were coming up with thinking about doing another short, I'm trying to think of more like Never Hike Alone stuff. It was like we kind of had this downtime and I had a lot of stuff to do. And Austin approached me and was like, I have this short. I'm trying to get it done. I was thinking about doing a Kickstarter. I was thinking about doing that. And I was like, why don't you just put it through Womp Stomp and we'll just carry it for you. We'll put it under the label. We'll put it on the stuff. That way you can get some exposure. You don't have to go like through all the bullshit that I went through to like build a company and do all that stuff. It's like, it's already here. It's for me and you and my friends and everybody who's like, all my filmmaker friends. I'm like, guys, we can do this now. We can make our own stuff. Let's go do it. That's what Womp Stomp's here for. And we want to expand our filmmaker prowess and show that we're a team of like multi-talented people. I don't have to direct everyone. I can produce one. I have those abilities, but it gives me the time to go work and write and do some stuff on my own project. So I don't feel like rushed to have to come up with something right away. We have somebody else that can fill the void. So it's just been a lot of work like that.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah. So when you guys plan on having that ready to view?
Well, I mean, the festival circuit, we probably wouldn't. I mean, it depends on how long we go through festivals. So if it's ready, if we shoot it this June, which is the plan, we would have it all. I mean, it's a 15-minute short, so we should have it together pretty quick, probably August, September, submit it, do the festival run all the way through Halloween season up into the winter. And then once we start to get to a certain place, we'll think about releasing it online. I know we'll probably release a private view for people who backed it. They'll see it first. And then we'll just put it on YouTube probably end of the year, early next year. And I still have a short that I did that I haven't even posted yet. So it's funny when you do these things and you submit them and they're doing the festival rounds and you forget that you have a short. And you're like, oh yeah, I have this thing. People need to see it. This needs to go somewhere. So yeah, hopefully I'll be posting one of the shorts that I did in my downtime when I was just bouncing around doing different projects. And we'll see when I'm able to do that.
So do you have any plans other than the second or whatever? I don't want to say anything wrong here. Other than the next Never Hike Alone, do you have any other Friday the 13th plans, fan film wise, before you go?
I mean, as far as Friday the 13th fan film stuff goes, it's all Never Hike Alone related stuff. So it's all pieces of that universe.
We talked about something about Jason's mama a long time ago. You and I.
Oh yeah, I know. I would love to do a short about Pamela that kind of shows the moments after Jason's death, and we've talked about it before. And that's part of the Never Hike Alone universe. I think the priority right now is the story that we started, and kind of doing what we can for that, and then that Pamela stuff, and maybe some other things along the line that like we could go into other different places and examine things. I think that like the end of Never Hike Alone, that saga, that series, that when you get to the end of it, it's actually would be kind of cool to go back to the beginning, kind of see things from Jason's perspective, and then maybe open up something new for the series to continue after what we do in that. But yeah, no, so I worked on that. So I have that kind of off to the side as like a pin in the wall type thing. And then I've been basically working on writing 3 features at the same time. Luckily I only wrote one of them. The other 2 are written by other people that I've been editing. So I just finished editing one and submitted that. And so that's hopefully going to make the rounds and we can start doing pitches with it. And then I just launched a set of revisions on a feature script that hopefully will be my first directorial feature debut, with like a really nice budget and going out and trying to find some really good cast and stuff like that. But we're in early stages with that right now. And the other one was an idea that I had, and maybe we talked about it offline before, but we're about halfway through that script right now. Me and the writer from Never Hike Alone, Nate McLeod. Kyle McLeod came from Nate. So we've been working together. I mean, we've literally been working on this thing for over a year. And we're only 45 pages in because we've been so busy. But it's like, even though it's going slow, it's going really well. I just actually read through the first 45 today, and it's like, this is so good. We just need to finish writing it. So now that I finished the revisions on that, and I've been kind of doing my director book, I'm stealing days to like add a page here, add a scene here. I'm kind of writing it scene by scene. And it's in all the good stuff right now. We got through all like the character establishment and all the fun stuff, and now the blood's starting to hit the floor, and so I'm really kind of like cranking my wheels on this one and coming up some really cool scenes.
Nice.
Things start to get fun.
Yeah, when it starts to get real hectic.
Can I ask? I don't know if this is proper, but what happened with? I'm pretty sure you were playing Michael Myers in the Hawthorne House films.
Mm-hmm.
What happened with that? I know they didn't make their Indiegogo, but are they still planning on releasing that?
Well, I mean, they never had they never really got the funds to make the full piece. And okay. I think that they were really happy with what they made with Prelude. I was very happy with it. It was really cool. It's a great concept. I think that if the chance for here's the thing, there was a lot of content that came out. I mean, crowdfunding was crowded last year. I mean, there was a lot of stuff. There were things that were eating up
last couple of years, honestly.
Well, yeah, it's been a really tough thing, and I think that there was a lot of Halloween stuff. There was a lot of Friday the 13th stuff. There was a lot of things that were, 13 Fanboy was out there. You got Deborah Voorhees, who's making a very big project. So fans were jumping into the things that like alumni was attached to, and some of the more kind of offshoot, like fringe kind of experimental type of horror film or fan film wasn't really getting looked at. But I think if they went back again, they got, we still got that suit. I still got that beautiful mask. They still have a really great concept, a really great team, a really great DP. Stephen Wolf's the director of that. Ken Whiting is the DP. And they're a good team. They make really good stuff. I mean, but they've also concentrated on other stuff that they've been doing too. Like they had a film called Dracula's Coffin, and I think they have another one called Curse. And they get a lot of shorts coming out this year. So I think once people see what they're capable of, maybe they'll give them a little bit more of a chance, because The Face of Michael Myers is really badass, and I would love to go back and finish that.
I'd like to see it. I know while they ran their campaign, Justin Seaman did The Barn Part 2.
Yep.
I know Volumes of Blood 3 or whatever it's called, that was going to. There was like 4 or 5, and then of course there's the other. How do you, before we talk about anything else, I want to. How do you feel about that? You're kind of like leading the way in all these other Friday the 13th short films coming.
It's insane. It's insane. There's just so many of them now.
There's like 3 more coming at least.
Yeah.
With what, Vengeance,
Voorhees, and Jason Rising. And the one that I'm most excited about is kind of the newest one that's on the block, is Jason Rising. And there's another one out there called His Name is Jason too. But they're all at different levels. They're all different. They're all feeding kind of different parts of the Friday the 13th. And that's kind of what's cool about Friday the 13th is Friday the 13th is not a solid pie of a series. You know what I mean? There's like,
you can add a different slice.
Everybody likes the different type of slice. It's like a pizza with 1,000 different slices on it. That's a great way to that is probably the most perfect way to describe Friday the 13th I've ever heard. It's a pizza made of different slices.
My favorite type of pizza comes from New York, so
I
will announce my fan film, which is
I thought you were
Manhattan.
I thought
actually no.
Your favorite slice came from a guy strapped to a table.
Well, one of my long lifetime goals is to like make up for Jason Takes Manhattan with a fan film, to like do like Jason Escapes New York. That's what I want to do. Jason Escapes New York, and I want to do that.
It should be a group of film students who get a job working for like the New York Tourism Board, and they're trying to film like a commercial for tourism that's during like what the events of Jason Takes Manhattan.
So they got the old school shitty equipment too.
Yeah.
So really...
But like Jason Takes Manhattan is kind of happening in the periphery of this shoot. Like
exactly. That's how you fix Jason Takes Manhattan. Is you ignore how bad the other film was, and you just have it pick up with him standing up in the sewer at some point and continuing. You know what I mean? And going all the way back to Crystal Lake. I would watch the shit out of that movie, and it needs to be made. Jason X2 needs to be made. And so, you know what? So fan films.
They have so many like. Man,
So
they've
he
got
would
all these great like Jason X novels. They could just adapt all these movies. Like that would be fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm totally down with it. So that's basically what's happened is you basically get like a different piece of the pie, and they're all getting spread around, and some pieces of the pie are getting more than others. And I think that like there's a lot that came out at the same time. I know that, I mean, basically the amount of Friday the 13th fan films that have come out has delayed Never Hike Alone stuff, because I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm just going to come in and like be like, all right, get out of the way. Like, I need to get money. But I kind of want like some of these, like, so like, for example, like I've been working with James Sweet from the Jason Rising campaign, who's going to go at it again. We've been talking because his first one didn't really go the way he wanted it. And again, I think it just came out during that time. Everything was blowing up. Everything was sucking up money. And even though he had a really good idea, he's got, you know, the camera work is slick. His Jason looks like a resurrected Ted White Jason, which is really cool. So I think people who are into the final chapter and part 3 and like a lot of people hate everything from 6 on. I know that there's a slice of pizza for people who only love parts like 2 through 4. So this is the pizza for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if this is, I mean, I invested in it, and I think I'm an associate producer now, technically, by the previous Kickstarter. So I think like, so we kind of coordinated. He knew I was doing my Blu-ray campaign, so we can go into production in June. As soon as the Blu-ray campaign is over, Jason Rising is launching theirs. And that's one of the reasons why we're not trying to raise too much money with this. We're kind of like just, you know, I'm only really selling the Blu-ray and a couple of little fun things here and there. But if people are like saving up cash and they're looking for something to invest in, I really think Jason Rising is the way to go. And you're just going to see, you know, I mean, 6 months from now, you're going to have 5-6 fan films, you know, all out there to watch. Yeah. It's going to become like its own box set. I think that's what needs to happen. There just needs to be a whole box set of all of them.
That'd be kind of cool.
We should coordinate and just like put it all out.
out.
How does the lawsuit, is that impacting any of this stuff?
Who gives a shit? At this point, fuck them.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You know what? They're ruining it for themselves. They're ruining it for themselves at this point. You know, it's the Wild West. Fans are going nuts. Make your films.
It really is. That's a good comparison. Yeah.
You know, and you know, I was really cautious at first. Like when I was making Never Hike Alone, I was super cautious. I didn't want to do anything. The legal stuff was coming up. Everything was still being made. There was a film that was coming out. I was right there running neck and neck with them, being like, if we do one wrong thing, they're going to look at us and shut us down. And then they shut their own project down, and then they just look the other way. And you know, I've been careful in being like, I don't want to appease them, but I don't even think they've looked once. I mean, some of the stuff that other fan films have been able to get away with, you know, violate SAG rules, violate the rules that were written on the thing. It's like all these different stuff. You're like, wow, like no one's really paying attention to this. So I know when I go after like the Never Hike Alone thing that I want to do, like we're not saying like, oh, we're raising $50,000 and capping it off there. I'm literally pulling the plug and being like, you guys want to see Never Hike Alone 2? You want a real feature film? Well, we're going to have to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're going to have to figure out how to do it. So if you guys want to back and you really want to see it, and you don't want to wait 3 years for like a legit Friday the 13th feature, and you really think that Womp Stomp Films can make the next Friday the 13th feature, we will take that money. We have people in place that are going to help us get it done. I've been making a lot of connections with film commissions around the country, finding a home for us, finding a place where we can take our entire cast and crew out to, and just over 3 weekends, you know, bang out a film, shoot it all in one place, have a, you know, a set that's all to our own, and then give people the answer to what Never Hike Alone, you know, the potential of what it could be.
Nice.
But it all starts with this one. So get us some money so we can start the pre-production and build some stuff.
I've already given you money twice.
Give me more money. Did you get the second edition, did you?
What's that?
Did you get the second edition?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
hey, you know, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we've also, I mean, we have the Blu-ray, we have pins. We only have 3 pins left, and they're really cool. They're by Creative Terror Inc. Creative Terror pins. They are amazing looking. They should, like, we literally, I was about to launch the campaign on Monday. Saturday night, the guy from Terror Pins like pinged me and was like, hey man, like really love Never Hike Alone. Would love to do a pin for you one day. I was like, well, if you do it one right now, I can get you in the campaign. And he was like, hold on a second. Comes back 20 minutes later with a beautiful design. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, I just kind of came to me and I was like, oh, just change this and this, and I'm ready to go. You want to do it? And so I ended up cutting a deal with them on like the Sunday before, built it all up. And so we've been launching those. We sold 50 of those. There's only 3 left. So we've got 3 more to go. One of the other things that people had asked about bringing back was the Never Hike Alone t-shirt. So we brought that back. That was from our first campaign. So the Never Hike Alone cruise shirt is now available. We also have the first Never Hike Alone poster, the blue one that's kind of matches the cover art of the new second edition. We also have the one from, I had some leftover stuff too. We sold out of scripts. I still have soundtracks, and I still have about 15 fight posters left. So the one with Andrew and Jason kind of crawling up there, Danny's artwork. So yeah, Desmulis, I think his last name is, but he did a couple things for us. He did that Tommy artwork, which we released, and then he did that poster artwork, which was amazing. He's an amazing artist.
That's cool stuff. Yeah, Keith Saunders, one of our followers, and he occasionally does work for us. He said he bought all 3 pens, and he really wants to say hi to him. Can you say hi to Keith?
Hi, Keith. Thank you for buying all 3 pins. You are like, those were like out of everything, that's what I want like most. Like when I told him, I was like, we'll do 50, but can you do 3 more for me?
Did you do the mask the first time?
We did like the little mask, and think I might have one. Do I have it? It's somewhere around here. I don't know. I got pinned. We got rid of them all. I mean, I had a handful. And I just kept sending them out to people. There were like fans who like ping you for things. So I was just like, have a pin. You know what I mean? Like once you kind of have like, it's funny because you sell it all, and then after you're done sending it all out and you have like handfuls of stuff, like you find yourself being like, somebody writes you a letter and I'm like, you know what? That was nice. Here's some free shit.
Yeah, I fucking do the same thing. It's like, I probably should have kept some of those.
And there you are paying your own postage, and you're like, oh, I'm such a nice guy. And then you're like, wait, oh man, that could have like paid for something. But you know, I mean, that's kind of the breaks. I mean, I did like a whole, like there's things that I've done with, like I had a wait list for the Blu-ray, the last one. And I was really diligent about getting people on the list. So I had about 120 that I went through on the wait list. I had 120 discs left. I went through maybe about 200 people that I had to contact to get most of those sold. And a lot of people just either never got back to me or never paid the invoice or never did anything. So at one point, if somebody like emailed me like out of the blue and they were like, dude, I just saw it. I missed it. I feel like shit. And I was like, today's your lucky day. Like, you want a first edition? I can get it to you right now. I will put a label on it and put it in the mailbox. And so now we're all out. So now we're definitely all out. Or there might be some, because I'm still handing stuff back to the cast and crew. Like literally, I haven't seen some of the crew since we wrapped filming. So I still have like a handful that I'm handing out to some people. But once I get all the cast and crew taken care of, I might have like a dozen left, and then we'll just see what I do with those. I don't know. I'll do something special. Maybe we'll do them in the next campaign. There'll be like 12 available.
Yeah.
13.
The first edition's cool because they have the red case, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, the new ones have a blue case. Yeah.
Did you stuff all the other ones with the stickers and the thank you card?
They're not going to. I think I sent you stickers because you're special. Because the stickers are from the first campaign. But I will be doing a card for this one, but they won't be numbered. So this one will have a card. We'll do the same thing because it will look nice with like a little.
The card's really cool. It's got the. Just so anybody who's wondering what the
yeah, and it will look different. It won't be the same card. It will be a card that matches that case.
So you won't get this card because
no,
you're not as cool as me.
No. Everybody that backed the first campaign, I wanted to make sure that your purchase was exclusive. Anybody who's got that red case and that card, they made a purchase the first time around. They were there to back us when we were nobody really knew who we actually were when we still sold that many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First campaign ended up doing, it was over 50 grand, wasn't it?
It was 50 grand. It ended up it paid for the entire production of because what's nice is that the first run of printing Blu-rays and doing that stuff is really expensive because you're building the digital guts for the disc. So we had to have people do that. When you first press it, you have to create like master copies, so that costs extra. And then then we printed about 2,000, like 1,700 something of them, and then we had extras because some did break, and there were things that got shipped out and crushed, and USPS like probably broke around 40 to 50 discs, I would say. Yeah, so we had to replace all those for free. So we did all that. So when we raised money on Kickstarter, we only raised about 18 grand. From crowdfunding, and everything else kind of came out of personal expense. So we paid off the rest of the film that was on personal expense, and then we donated, I think, about 2.5 grand to. We were gonna do it to the United Fund, but by the time we got done doing it, and we had the money left over. That was already all full up and fixed. So we just went back to Penny Pines. So we ended up donating that to Penny Pines. We're going back to Penny Pines this time too. So the other thing that I should have mentioned this before, but what we're going to do with this Blu-ray campaign, because last time we had to wait all the way till the end and then make the payment, and it took like, I don't know, 9-10 months. This time what we're doing is whatever we have a budget for what we're doing for the Blu-ray this time. The printing is much cheaper because we're not doing a Blu-ray and a DVD. We're just doing the Blu-ray. We already have the master copy of the Blu-ray. The digital guts are the same. We're literally just swapping out the artwork, putting in a new disc, which is cheaper because the red cases were extremely rare and expensive as hell. And these ones are like the standard blue. They're much cheaper. The production of this is going to be much lower. We're going to put that through. Once that's in and I've signed that check for those people, we're going to look at what the profit is from that, because some of it's going to Pathosis, but we're going to look at the entire profit after that. And we're going to basically 13% of that right away. We're donating to both the Penny Pines Reforestation Project again, and then we're donating it to the JD Martz Recovery Fund. And those who don't know who JD Martz is, JD Martz was one of the directors of photography on Never Hike Alone. A week after we finished shooting in August of 2017, he dove into a wave in Manhattan Beach and broke his neck and became paralyzed. And so about 2 days, what?
Was he surfing?
No, he was just diving into the water.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, he just hit the wrong way, and it was instant. I mean, his family was there. They were luckily there to help him and get him out of the water and get him to the hospital.
That's terrible.
Yeah, for a while he couldn't breathe on his own. We didn't get to see him. We didn't know if he was going to survive. It was a really touch and go thing for a little bit. Eventually, they had to put him on a med plane and fly him all the way from Los Angeles, California to Boston, Massachusetts, where he's originally from. They put him in a recovery hospital there where he made really good progress. He regained the ability to breathe on his own. He regained some movement from his shoulders upward, so he can move his head, he can talk. And the best thing about the whole thing is that when you see him, it's still JD. Luckily he didn't have any brain damage. He didn't have anything that diminished him. He's still just as smart and witty and a son of a bitch as he was before. And he's if you guys, I think he's going to be doing a podcast about his recovery and all that thing. So he's about in the second year of his recovery. And he's about to go in for a study pretty soon. So pretty soon he's going to be eligible to go in some of these studies that do radical types of rehabilitation, which will hopefully get him, if not close to fully recovered. And so we want to give him some money for his fund that helps him get those things. He just renovated his house so he can get a wheelchair in and out. But I mean, he's a fighter, dude. I mean, he's one of the hardest working people I know. He was a good athlete, did Brazilian jiu-jitsu, was in very good shape, takes care of his body, has that will and determination. So, he's been putting in the work himself, and that's what's really a testament to his recovery. And I mean, the guy's still editing. He's got this special set of glasses where he can edit on a computer and do work and do a bunch of computer stuff. I remember a week after he got his chair, he re-rigged it so it went faster or something. Reprogrammed. So I mean, yeah, so he's a complete badass. We miss the hell out of him. I mean, he's back home. When I go back home to Massachusetts, I try to visit him when I can, because that's where I'm originally from too. He lives about an hour away from me up north near Boston. But yeah, no, it was definitely a big blow to us. We miss him a ton. I mean, him and Andrew were hilarious on set. They were best friends, always tugging at each other and grabbing each other in the ass and stuff like that. But they're, So yeah, so we wanted to help them. So like I said, the first 13% of what we raised, we're going to split it, send it off to them. We're going to basically, this helps us pay for location fees on Pathosis, and then we're going to take another look at that chunk that's left over and probably do another donation to both of them again.
Well, that's really cool that you're doing that for him, man. That's terrible.
Yeah, man, I'd give him my ability to walk if I could. He's a better man than I. He's the man. Literally Never Hike Alone would not happen without that guy. He was definitely our all-star out there. He did everything. He hooked us up with so many different things, and small stuff on the weekend, or just even being just the funniest dude on set all the time. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, you don't even have to wait for this. If you back the previous campaign and you're like, dude, I can't give you any more money for these projects. I got everything you got. If you go to the Indiegogo, which is just search Indiegogo, Never Hike Alone 2nd Edition Blu-ray campaign. It's on our Facebook. It's on our Instagram. It's on our Twitter. You cannot miss it. If you go to www.wompstompfilms.com, up in the left-hand corner, it says support us on Indiegogo. Find the campaigning for a cause tab that's on our page. There's a link to JD Martz's recovery fund right there. Donate straight right now. Help him out. Him and his girlfriend could really use some help just getting through this stuff. It pays for his recovery plans, for him to go and do rehab, for the renovations they did in their house, and for hopefully pretty soon to get him off and running on on one of those experimental cool little studies that they're going to do.
Yeah. Physical therapy studies. Yeah.
I've seen he's done some really, I mean, there's things that it looks, the thing at the end of Aliens when Sigourney Weaver's walking in it and it's got the claws and stuff, she's fighting the queen. It's I saw one of them had him in one of those. It was super cool. I was oh man, you're Iron Man. But it works, and it helps the muscles keep flowing, and it keeps sending stimulation up and down to the muscles. So it's once those nerve waves get repaired, they have to start sending signals back and forth to make sure that they're working and they don't stop talking to the brain. So even though it's just a little bit of movement and he still has a lot of work to get his muscles going and stuff like that, it's still important that he keeps moving and he keeps staying active.
Yeah. Very cool.
These days. So
yeah.
Whew. So yeah, it's important for many reasons to support this. I just posted the link within the YouTube video, so it'll pop up for whoever watches the YouTube. Also, I'll make sure to edit the video so it's on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's something else I wanted to ask you, but Keith actually asked another question. Any hints on the new perk for tomorrow?
You shall see. Yeah, so we're doing, I should say that too. So every Friday, we're going to be doing a secret perk, and I'm working on the next 2 secret perks right now. But tomorrow's going to be super limited edition, 1 of 2. I've been just been scoping through Never Hike Alone stuff that I have, and I found some cool stuff. I was like, oh, you know what? Somebody might like this. So I think some people are really going to appreciate it. So, we'll see from there. I'll talk to a couple of other people because I know there's like people out there making some Ghost Jason memorabilia too. So I'll start talking to them, see if anybody wants to donate stuff, or if I'll just pay for it and we can go through there. But just to bring people to the cause and help us out. But there's there's going to be a really cool one tomorrow, limited edition, and then next week the next kind of 3 things are going to be all limited edition. So we'll only have so much. It's going to be collector's items only. We're not going to have any more. The only thing we launched that was a secret that's going to stay the entire time and is unlimited is the shirt. But the next 2 are going to be limited as well. So every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Keep an eye on, just keep refreshing our page. It will pop up and you better get there quick because they go fast.
Yeah. So I want to check out, see what this is because I'm curious as well. I saw that. That's something interesting that you're doing that most don't is adding perks later. You don't see that too often, which is kind of nice. It keeps people fresh, and if they already backed it, they could come back. Well, I want that instead.
Yeah, and we've been taking care of people that have already backed the campaign. So if they see something and they're like, "Listen, I already paid for this shipping and that shipping," if they email us at at wompstompfilms@gmail.com. We'll build bundles for you. So what we didn't bother doing was doing bundles this time because it didn't make sense. Everything was a limited edition. Everything, like I only had so many scripts, I only had so many posters, I only had so many this and that. It's very tough to play that guessing game of like, okay, I'll do 25 bundles and 25 single purchases, and then you sell out of single purchases, and then more people want bundles, or like you only sell 10 bundles and like you sell out of single purchases and you got 25 left over, and then you got to undo it, and then somebody wants a bundle, so you start undoing all your perks. I figured it's just easier to be like, we'll just let people buy what they want, and if they're like, this is too much money, and they email us, and I'll be like, what are you getting? Okay, so for all that, this is going to be the real shipping charge for you. Because
so if I got the DVD already or the Blu-ray, I can get a shirt too, and you'll bundle that all together.
Yeah, well, so there's actually that's one of the deals that's on now. If you actually look at the updates, there's a link for people. So if you're getting the updates, check out some of our not the last one, but the one prior to. There's a link that you can go to, and there's a special backer bundle for the T-shirt, which eliminates the shipping cost.
Okay. I'll double check that.
And they're really nice and really soft. We got only the best material we use.
Vincent or Vincente coming out? Remember Brian called you Vincente.
I was Vincente.
So you want to talk about we wanted to talk a little bit about the Child Play trailer that dropped today, and we talked about did you see the new Pet Sematary?
I did.
So we talked about that last week. Can you give us a little bit about how you feel? Mike loved it and hated it, right, Mike?
I don't know that I would say I did either of those things. I saw it. I have thoughts on it. But,
that should be the quote for the poster, and it would perfectly emulate exactly what Pet Sematary 2019 is. I saw it.
I saw it.
Yeah,
it was a movie.
It's a movie.
It was kind of like, it reminds me of what happened with Jordan Peele's movie Us. There was a ton of hype. It came out. Some people talked about it, and then it just vanished. Nobody said anything else. Honestly, I think Pet Sematary 2019 is going to end up in a Walmart bargain bin in 3 years. No one will remember it existed.
Yeah, I didn't. There was nothing memorable really from it, and then the only interesting part of it they ruined. The only interesting part of it they ruined in the trailer, and so for people who had read the book or had seen the 1989 version, like I did when I was like 6 years old, and it was the first time I ever saw a child die. And I'm in the middle of like this party where like my parents are partying with like the family, and everyone's like having a great time, and there I am as a 6-year-old, like, kids can die. Like having this emotional meltdown, and nobody knows. And then I watched this film, and I was like, what? Like
they made some really fucking weird choices. Like I don't understand what they were doing, because so much of this movie assumes that you already saw the other movie.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's saying, "Oh, it's not a remake; it's a readaptation of the book." And I'm like, "Well, the entire third act of both movies is not in the book, so they remade the original movie." But like, they keep like, I love the part with Judd in the new one because they keep zooming in on his ankle, and I'm like, if you haven't seen the original movie, like, what the fuck is going on? Why do they keep showing his ankles? I don't understand.
Ankle fetish. Yeah.
Well, it's just really weird, like, you know, that they build it to the point where the characters know what's going to happen in the movie too.
You know what's coming, or
it's just like,
yeah.
I just thought it was kind of obnoxious, and I don't know. They glossed over like the whole thing is supposed to be about like grief. It's about losing a kid, and then they're like, "Okay, kid dies. We're gonna put the funeral and the aftermath in a montage, and then back to like our kooky script changes." And it's like you just glossed over the entire point of the story.
Well, I think like one of the most emotional parts of the original Pet Sematary was the fact that there was that animosity between the dad.
Oh yeah.
You know, like that actually like broke my heart, because I'm like, oh my God, like I feel so bad for this guy. Like
they really portrayed family strife and grief.
Oh.
And in this one, I think the family's so squeaky clean and together and not broken. And you know what I mean? It's like, it wasn't interesting. So because the characters were almost too perfect as a family, you didn't get much drama. And plus I think that like Judd's motivation when he was like, I just didn't want to see her unhappy. I didn't feel the weight of like, oh no, he's really doing this because of something. It just felt that like, I'm doing it because the script told me to.
Yeah, exactly. Like John Lithgow did a good job. Like he didn't act badly, but he was given bad material. Well, they're like, he shows up, Ellie gets like a bee sting, and then he's just like, I'm a creepy old man in the woods. Here's the
let me lick that for you.
Yeah, and it kind of treated her
and they're like all best friends, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like this dude's just like a creepy old man that's like followed a little girl into the woods. Now he's like eating dinner with him.
I know, and it's like you wanted to see in order for that to resonate, his decision to be like, I couldn't live with her being unhappy. They really needed to build more of a connection between those two, and it didn't seem like there was something missing there.
Well, they're missing. I mean, the original movie is like that too. Like I rewatched the original movie before I went to go see the new one, and I had just read the book again, and neither is a particularly good adaptation of the book because they're both missing huge chunks. There's so much material to cover, but there's no character development at all. They just made broad statements, and it's like, this is what's going on with us now. And like Judd has not become friends with anyone. He just exists.
Yeah, it's kind of like they just do it. You know what I mean? It's not like, and that's kind of the secret of filmmaking. It's like when you just kind of go paint by number. Like this literally felt like when you hear about an award-winning Broadway play, but you don't see it till it's like the 5th or 6th run of the cast, and they're just going through the motions at this point. Like that's like, I don't really think Pet Sematary needed to be remade because there was nothing that the film in 1989 couldn't do that one in 2019 could. The reason why you want to remake something is because you can't do it. What's that? Did
you almost say paint by numbers?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it felt like. It felt like a stock generic modern horror movie.
That's fair.
That's what it was. I mean, there's nothing particularly awful about it. Like I didn't hate it.
No, it wasn't. The acting was good. The cinematography was amazing. The set design and production design was great. The effects were amazing.
Burial Ground, that looked like shit.
Yeah. I mean,
it didn't look like anything. I'm like, this looks like a theater set with like some dirt on the ground and some fake trees. They also didn't mention it was a fucking Indian burial ground at all. I'm assuming because it's not PC.
Yeah, that's right.
They glossed over a lot of weird shit. Like I said, they assume you already know the story because it's like there's just some odd choices.
At one point, when like you saw the Wendigo, I kind of wanted to see it. You know what I mean? I was like, well, if you show it, let's make this thing present in the film. Did I just walk into the middle of the ritual right now? Like, is that the Jotun? Like, does he take?
It was weird because in the original, like when they're walking through the woods, you hear the trees crashing and shit. And I had forgotten the Wendigo actually is in the book. It's like a 90-foot tall monster that's uprooting trees, and it's fucking stupid as hell. Like it does not belong nor fit in the story whatsoever. So I'm like, well, that's really interesting that they decided to just do it with sound effects. And then I'm like, well, the new one, I'm like, oh, they're gonna do like all the weird, creepy shit that happens in the book when they're walking through the swamp. Like Judd tells Lewis, he says, you might hear or see things, they're just loons. And he's like, ignore it. If something starts to talk to you, do not talk back. If you see something, look the other way. Like all these creepy things, like they're just walking through the swamp and someone just starts laughing maniacally. And like the new one, they
could have done that. That's what they could have done.
Like, man, they're gonna do some really cool, like subtle, creepy shit, and they're like, no, we're just gonna like.
It felt really safe
with a rock. He throws the shovel down at the deadfall. I'm like, what are you doing? It took me 3 hours to bury the cat, but now you've got like a 13-year-old and you're using a fucking rock as a shovel. Like, come on. Like, stupid shit. And I was like,
that's funny. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I mean. I think it was a film that played itself too safe. It didn't take any risks.
Yeah.
And and for that, it just kind of like it was just a film, and it won't be remembered as the one that really shook us for 2019 the way films did last year.
Well, there's no emotion. Like it just felt so cold. I mean, the parents in the original are very cold, but they're written to be cold. But yeah, like the death in this one, I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
An afterthought, and then the ending. While I appreciate that it's basically just a fucked up joke,
yeah,
you completely undermined like so much about the story.
I was so checked out by that point. I was kind of like, yeah.
I looked at when I'm like, wait, did that seriously? Like, did they just do like a fucking like when they did the key fob? I'm like, did they just end this on a gag? Like, really? And I was like, I was like, oh my god, like what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like they did take a big risk. I mean, they took a big risk, but the problem is that instead of letting audiences experience that in the theater,
no, they just fucking
let them experience on their phones and on their computers and on their smartwatches, and and everyone went, oh, they changed it.
Well, they do that with the Jason Clarke movies because they did that in that Terminator movie with him. They revealed that he was John Connor.
That's what he was.
Yeah. So like they revealed the big twist in the trailer, and they're doing that in a lot of trailers these days, revealing the big twist or whatever.
Huge part point. Yeah.
Well, what annoys me is like
except for Star Wars trailers, they're the only ones who seem to be able to cut trailers without spoiling everything.
That's true.
Like all the fan rage stuff about it when the trailers came out, everyone's like, well, you can't not have that in the trailer because it's a major plot point. Like. This is not a movie. They were saying the argument was this isn't for us; it's for a new generation. And I was like, okay. Obviously, the trailer is using the iconic moments in the original movie to try to lure us to go to see it. But I'm like, the way that they shot the accident scene this time, they still had Gage running out to the road, which I thought was great. If I didn't know, I would have been like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Could have cut the trailer with that moment, and it would have fucking looked like they played it like they did the original movie, and then it would have completely sideswiped us.
Yeah, and that's exactly, dude. You just nailed it right on the head. I didn't even think it because we couldn't think of that because of that, but you just nailed it. Like they literally should have just played that moment. Like this is what's going to happen, remember? And people go, "Oh wow, that kid's cute. He's going to look bad as a pancake on the ground." And then and then they do what they do, and then you can then all of a sudden, like what you do is you get this moment where all of the audience sits forward in their seat.
Yeah.
And when you do that, everyone is locked in. And even if I was when I got to the point in that film, I was kind of sitting back. But part of it is because I knew that was coming, and I was just waiting to be like, all right, so now I just want to see what happens when it gets to that moment and it does the change and how they're going to unfold those events and how they make use of those events. And there was some good stuff in there. I mean, the stuff where he's like brushing her hair, and it was like callback to when she was brushing Church's hair, and like him really starting to like kind of go. But because there wasn't that tension in the family, and there wasn't like in 1989, I had like an oh shit feeling for like him, because like there was such tension between him and his wife, such tension between him and his family, like so scared that they were going to come home. You know what I mean? And like in this one, I wasn't. I didn't have that feeling as it was going on.
Well, they didn't have you didn't feel like he was making a really horrible choice by burying her in the cemetery, because she dies and then it's like within 3 minutes they're already at the burial ground, and I'm like, what happened to like Judd warning him, like telling him the story about when they buried a person, and then it's like, don't do it, and you've got this dread like, oh fuck, he's gonna do it. And then this one, he just like roofies his neighbor for some reason. I was expecting a very different twist as that was unfolding.
Yeah, I thought he was going to try to kill him.
Yeah, I was like, what the shit is happening? And
I
then
thought he was blaming him for like Church luring out into the road, and like that's what I literally thought was gonna. I was like, holy shit, he's gonna kill him right now. This film's. And I started to sit forward in my chair, and then he passed out. And I was like, what's he gonna do to him?
no,
This is just so he can go up into the woods. Oh, okay.
it was odd.
Yeah.
I also love that everybody has like an infinite amount of mud on their foot on their shoes. Every single person, when you come back from the dead, you have to leave precise muddy footprints throughout the entirety of the house. It's great.
The poor special effects department walking around with their stamps.
I know. It looks like that. I'm like, this looks way too like clean. I was like, what the fuck?
The first shot in the movie is muddy footprints too.
Yep.
What's that?
The first shot in the movie is muddy footprints.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the bloody car. And I gotta ask too, since we're pretty much talking spoilers here. Why the fuck did they light Judd's house on fire? What was the purpose of that?
I have no clue.
Because it's like, okay, we're like the all-American undead family now. Presumably they would want to like fly under the radar and like try to like pass as alive. It's like,
What is their goal?
Massive amounts of attention to ourselves by lighting this house on fire. It didn't make any sense. I'm like, because it turned into like a body snatchers movie. Like, you're supposed to bury your own. It's all about like, the lengths you'll go to when you're grieving. And they're like, no, it's just they're gonna keep replicating themselves. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah. Where do they go from here?
I don't know. Maybe the Wendigo's like the Borg or something. Maybe it's like a hive mind consciousness thing. People gonna be.
Now go down to Cumberland Farms and get me a Charleston Chew. That's all this is all about. It's just a bunch of rappers at the end of the film and just the giant tree creature being like, oh, that would have been better that way.
It's going to be something. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was just kind of forgettable.
And you did mention Us, and I would say, like, not to be that guy, but I liked Us up until the ending.
Yeah.
And even though he defends that, he's like, I did that on purpose. I was kind of like, you had like this beautiful thing, and then you kind of just pooped on it and ran away. And I was like, why did you do that?
Well, why? Yeah, for a man who won an Academy Award for screenwriting, I was not expecting a James Bond villain speech as the film.
I haven't seen Us yet.
What's that?
I haven't seen Us.
Okay, we won't spoil it. At the ending, I think it works up until the ending, and I think that like there was something sweet about the first dynamic of what you thought the person was, and then when they change it, you kind of go, huh? Like, it took you this long?
The thing is, there's some super easily telegraphed twists that were like really, really like amateur horror, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah, it didn't need the twist. It didn't need it because it was,
not at all.
Not at all.
And then it's like if the subtext or the metaphor he's going for works, then the narrative doesn't. And if the narrative makes sense and the subtext doesn't, it's just like this just doesn't quite nothing. It never quite gelled. I was on board for like the first half, and then it just kind of fell apart.
But I mean, it was funny. There were funny moments. There were good scenes. There were good moments. It just
there was some really great stuff, but I think the comedy was like it kind of threw me because it kind of ruined moments. I'm like, the hell, like. I don't know.
I would consider this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's kind of like Toby Hooper. He made the first one.
I love that because that was like totally batshit. This was almost like if it was like toned down character comedy, it would have been okay. But like doing like the goofy music over stuff, I'm like, this is a bit much. I'm always the guy that loves comedy. I love that, but I was really like some of these moments are so intense. I'm like, this is great. Don't relieve the tension. Just keep pounding it home. Like make me sweat. Yeah. Like, the Beach Boys come on.
That's funny. But yeah, so that's just my bit on that, but we won't spoil it for Ray. But let's get into this Child's Play trailer.
We can't spoil Child's Play yet, so
yeah.
Okay, going in before the trailer, going into the idea of a Child's Play remake while the other series is still alive bothered me. Just because the other series is still alive, that's it. I don't have any problems with a remake because no matter what, remakes are going to happen. We're bound to get another Friday the 13th remake.
Well, Cult of Chucky just came out like a year ago or so.
Yeah, it came out in 2017, but they've got a series, I think, on Sci-Fi coming out with all the cast members. So for me, it was more about why do it now? Why not wait till the other series is done? But it's here. the trailer, the teaser, and then the trailer. Of course, Mark Hamill's doing Chucky's voice, which there's a lot of horror nerd rage on that. I'm actually
Nerd rage.
Yeah,
it doesn't piss me off because
he does a video that I saw on YouTube that is quite hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah,
it doesn't really piss me off though.
Yeah, I'm okay. I love Mark Hamill. I love him so much. From Star Wars, the Joker, Anyway, and even the Flash. So, I think the trailer looks cool. I do want to see the movie. I'm not like super excited about it, but I do think it's gonna be better than the Pet Sematary remake.
Me too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that it looks more like a remake of Ghost in the Machine than it does Child's Play.
Yeah, I saw that you posted that on Facebook. I didn't think about that, but I think you're right.
I mean, like everyone's like, that's hilarious. Like, no, I'm not fucking with you. Like, it literally looks like Ghost in the Machine, and then the good guy doll shows up at the end, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm interested in seeing. I don't like the idea of like the AI gone bad. This is kind of like
he can hack into electronic devices around him, kind of thing.
It's like that movie Eagle Eye. Remember that with like with their
yeah.
on the cameras. It's kind of like that, and I was like, I love the menacing shot of the drone. I'm like, I don't think a drone can kill somebody.
Yeah, it would hurt, but it wouldn't.
It hurt, yeah, but I don't know. It's interesting.
Fuck your face up a little bit.
Yeah. I've gotten tagged by one of those things before.
Well, Mark Hamill sounds like he's doing a Brad Dourif impersonation.
Yeah.
What's the point of
spot on? I know. Well, Brad's probably not going to work with them. I mean, can you imagine Don Mancini and Brad having that conversation? Yeah, so I'm doing both films. You cool with that? Because Don obviously hates the idea that they're doing this.
Yes, he did.
But I mean, Child's Play fans kind of have something to celebrate right now because they have both their original franchise still intact and moving forward, and now a new one that's basically bonus material. Then there's this. So it's not like one's taking away from the other one. The other one's still going and still as strong as ever.
That comment right there is one of the biggest problems with fandom. Is they think that any kind of remake is just shitting on the original stuff, or like when Halloween came out last year. People were so pissed off they were skipping over all the other movies. It's like, they're still there. You actually, it's like choose your own adventure with Halloween anymore.
You can still go back and enjoy the originals.
Yeah, I mean, my collection didn't disappear when Halloween 2018 came out.
Blumhouse didn't show up and be like, hey, I'm going to need these back.
Yeah, I mean, the Blumhouse Gestapo didn't show up. Like, hey, you're going to burn these in your front yard.
It's just Jason Blum driving around in a pickup truck.
That's what he does. In a Google Earth car. But
the thing with the Halloween thing though that was annoying to me was that within the fandom too, everyone's like, oh man, thank God they're disregarding all those shit sequels. And this time Jamie Lee Curtis is back to fight Michael Myers. Like, she came back 3 other times. This is not new. This is just another one that she comes back.
Correct.
This is option 3.
Yeah, I was like, I guess. I don't know. But the thing with the Child's Play movies, the last couple sequels are kind of shit, like the Cult of Chucky and Curse of Chucky.
Actually,
it's definitely a certain tone. I mean, that's the thing. It's it's a very if you took Cult of Chucky to the cinema today, how good would it do? Do you really think? I think it is where it needs to be. I think it's in the place where it's going to be.
At least the production value was good for them.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Much higher quality than what I expected from a direct to DVD sequel, but it was better than.
But the streaming service stuff is nothing to shake a stick at. I mean,
it's definitely they're going directly to the audience that it's it's there for. So I mean, they're definitely they're pumping more money into that stuff than the tentpole theatrical shit.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have. I mean, the newer Child's Play fan also, or newer horror fans, maybe if you're a new horror fan, you know what Child's Play is. You're an idiot. But it's kind of like when it goes into the theater. I mean, people are gonna have to they don't understand the lineage of what's going on, like Voodoo for Dummies and all that stuff. In jokes, it's really built. It's really fan service and built for the fans. It's something that can't just be picked back up and thrown into the theater. What I like about because I would when they first announced Child's Play, I was kind of like, bah, really? Are they really? How the hell are they going to do this? Who are they going to find to voice Chucky? It was all the questions I think we all had. And what's the deal? But from what I could tell from the trailers, that there's a couple of key shots where that dude, you see him messing with a computer chip. So it seems like whoever our Charles Lee Ray character is he's some type of programmer who's insane. And he's programmed one of these dolls to be malicious and dangerous. And maybe it starts to spread and infect the other ones too, which is a ripoff of Cult of Chucky. But, but the sense that it builds into what this is a nightmare scenario for today's world. We're all interconnected. It's and this is what I'm talking about. Pet Sematary. The film you had in 1989 and the film you have in 2019, the same exact film. Now this is completely different. Now you're taking a concept and you're putting it in today's market that matches today's world. So this is worthy of that tale. And it's not like that. I mean, Aubrey Plaza is good. They got the kid from the Wolfie's Just Fine video, New Beginning for the Friday the 13th thing. He's a great actor. Mark Hamill's doing the voice, sounds just like Brad. I mean, when he goes like, "Hey, Andy," at the end, I was like, "Whoa!"
Literally sounds like Brad Dourif. Yeah,
I know. I was like, "That's Chucky." And then when you think about it, like, yeah, Brad Dourif did the voice for Chucky, but Chucky's voice is Chucky's voice. So the fact that they're able to use that voice does help them, because can you imagine if we got like the Jackie Earl Haley of Chucky dolls? Oh. It wouldn't help. And you could say that this is a safe choice. Like, you could say that this is a safe choice, but it's a good safe choice. This is kind of one where you're like, you know what? Let's not reinvent the wheel here. Like, so I am now cautiously optimistic. I'm ready to watch this film. It could be awful, because I watched the drone kill people in what was it? The new Puppet Master movie. They had like the drone puppet, which was stupid as hell.
Oh, the Lilith Reich.
With the what?
List Reich.
Yeah, is it the Littlest Reich? Is that the newest one?
Full Moon was making theirs. Littlest Reich is not a Full Moon movie. I didn't see it yet. I heard things.
That's the new.
Is that the one with Barbara Crampton in it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I watched that. It didn't feel like they were writing a movie. It just felt like a bunch of scenes piled on top of each other. Like, we're just gonna make the puppets do a bunch of shit.
Now,
which is like about four of the other Puppet Master movies.
He was talking about Puppet Master Legacy the other day, how it's like all the other films cut together with like 10 minutes of new footage.
It's like 80 minutes of all other movies.
I always say that there might not even be 80 minutes of usable footage in the entire series.
I'm actually a big fan of Puppet Master, like 4 and 5, where they fight the demons in the house.
Totems.
Yeah, I just love watching them.
I love Jeff Burr, but I couldn't get behind it. It was so like. Oh.
Like the 90s, they were
really good. The rest of them, not so much.
Well, the funny thing was, is my video store only had like 4 and 5. Like, they didn't have 1, 2, 3. They only had 4 and 5. So those were the only ones I. And then they had, I think, Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys, and they had Demonic Toys. Yeah. So those are some nasty films to watch when you're a kid.
Demonic Toys are fun. It's a great fucking movie, and Doll Man versus Demonic Toys. Those are great movies.
Yeah, there was some funny stuff in there too. I remember that, like, as crappy as those movies were, they at least had one scene with like one line by one of the toys that was like so outrageously funny. I remember like crying, like laughing at some of those films. Like, they're worth it for like the one good joke in the entire film.
Usually Baby Oopsie Daisy.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I mean, Child's Play is gonna be when is it coming out?
June 21st, I think.
All right, so we're coming up.
I just looked that up and I already forgot. But no, I was checking to see what the budget is, because I'm curious to see what the budget and what they would have to make to break even. Because
that is interesting.
Yeah. The weird thing about that trailer, though, is it reminded me of what, like, if they tried to redo Maximum Overdrive nowadays.
Yeah, go to the Machine. Like, go watch Ghost of the Machine, and that's what it is. And like, man.
Yeah.
But
the things that they can implement into a movie like that.
So I guess we'll see. So the jury's going to be out on it, but I think that's going to be one of the better ones. When's It Chapter 2 coming out? October?
I think September.
September, that's right.
By the way, the jury's already out on this Child's Play movie.
Really? But everyone just already.
Yeah, everybody's already pissing on it. So, yeah.
But I mean, we're gonna see what it does in the box office. That's gonna be the
thing. I think I'm gonna go ahead and go see it in the theater. I'll probably take my son because he likes horror movies quite a bit, and he loves those the old ones. So loves Never Hike Alone, of course.
Yeah, tell him I said hello. I know he's
Yeah. I might have to before you get off here. I might have to have him come in and say hi, so he can be all weird and awkward with you.
Hey.
But I'm curious to see what he being in, of course, the newer generation of young horror fans, seeing what he thinks of a new adaptation of a Chucky movie, because he really does love the originals, all of them. Actually, well, he's only seen up through Bride, I think. No, he saw Seed of Chucky. I can't believe I showed that to him.
He was the best.
good parenting.
He's so fucked up.
I fell asleep watching that one. I woke up and both my kids are watching. I'm like, fuck. But my mom fell asleep watch it, and I ended up watching A Nightmare on Elm Street, and that's how I got into horror. So I mean, worked out for me. I think I'm not really fucked up.
Like, I think the original Child's Play movie is really interesting because, like, people just remember they remember Chucky with the the wisecrack, that shit, but they don't remember like the good guy commercial and stuff like that. Movie was literally Cabbage Patch Dolls as a horror movie, and like that was huge at the time. Like and that's what I like. I agree with what Vince was saying, is that they're using the electronics and shit like that. The iPhone enabled like toys. That's what my nephews play with right now. Like, this is this generation's that. And I think that it's right. That it is right for a remake, and I think that it would. We grew up with Saturday morning cartoons telling us what to buy. Now, the kids have like the CG animated shows, and everything is connected to Wi-Fi and crap. So I mean, it is a remake that could work. Like, I like the idea of it.
Yeah, I do too. The more I learn about it, like, again, my only beef with it, I'm not a huge remake guy, but I give them all a chance, because you never know. You could find something like the Dawn of the Dead. I love that. Remake, and then
Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, The Hills Have Eyes was absolutely better, I think, than the original one.
No,
I mean,
the Dawn of the Dead remake, the first 15 minutes are great.
You can't have the anyway. I am probably one of the only people that I guess like the Friday the 13th remake. So,
yep, you are.
Yeah, you on an island. You and Cody Leach on an island.
There's more that I like it. I still haven't shown it to my son yet, though, because
there's a lot of fans that like 2009. There are a lot of them are raising their heads out of the sand this year and being like, yeah, we actually like that film.
Well, it's just I don't know. I liked it. I mean, of course, I'm a Part 6 guy too, so.
Well, Part 6 is great. I love Part 6.
It's the best.
I think Part 4 is the best of the original, like the one I consider like the actual Friday the 13th movie.
It's so boring. It's to me, it's boring. And let me tell you, it's basically The Prowler, which is a boring movie. Joseph Zito.
No, the Prowler.
Don't compare it to that.
I love The Prowler. Oh, the kills in that movie are great.
Yes, because they're in Friday the 13th Part 4.
It's got great gore, but it's not, the movie itself.
It's slow.
It gets the guys on the phone, and it's like a 4.5 minute scene in real time of him not going to like.
The pitchfork scene in the shower is the best.
Yeah, there's some fucking nasty stuff
There's
in that.
Some good stuff in there, but it's The Prowler kind of like when I watched it, because I didn't watch that for the first time until this year or last year. And like I'm watching it, and I'm like, who directed this? And I look Joseph Zito. I'm like, okay, so it's because I was reminded of some of the things that ended up happening in Final Chapter. The thing about Final Chapter for me is it is a good movie. It is probably the best Friday the 13th movie, but it's also the one I've seen the most. And when I've seen something the most, it becomes blah to me. Like Shaun of the Dead, for instance, it's just a blah movie to me. So that's what the problem is. And I watched Friday the 13th today because my spirit animal is
Ralph.
Ralph, yeah. I saw that, and I was down today, if you guys didn't see on Facebook, and I saw Ralph, and instantly I was awakened again. And my favorite part is whenever Ralph says, "You're going to Camp Blood, aren't you?" And the trucker guy goes, "God damn it, Ralph!" That just makes me so happy, because they're just sick of his shit. But anyway, no. I like Friday the 13th Part 4. I don't think it's overrated. I just have seen it way too much. That's the one that, again, I had a lot of friends come to me wanting to watch horror movies growing up. That's the one they always wanted to watch. So,
I just think that if I was going to show somebody a movie, like this is what encompasses the Friday the 13th franchise. I think 4 is like the perfect sampling.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the one everybody wanted to see.
It's a better movie. It's more fun, and like it's what I like about the series. But you know,
Part 4, the best part of Part 4 is the end. When my favorite part of the whole series probably is whenever he gets the machete through the head and slides down the machete. That is the coolest fucking thing ever. So
I almost like lean towards when he like fucking like breaks through the door and it like completely explodes.
Yeah, that was awesome too. I mean,
was
Part 4 has probably got the more iconic moments. I think, with the exception of when he rises out of the grave and turns in Part 6 with the pole. But
both those films do a really great job of creating iconic moments. I mean, and definitely there. And yeah, I mean, Jason coming through that door is one of the first images I've ever had of Jason. I think I was watching the Part 7 intro, was like one of my first introductions to Friday the 13th. And that was like a big part of that intro. And I remember being like, oh, what am I watching? There's a lot of so that's when I really kind of fell in love with Jason for sure. But yeah, but it's 4 and 6. I think that like what 4 has over 6 is like darker, grittier tone. It's
6 is a comedy. Like
Part 6, it is. It's got more of a universal style. It's a little bit brighter. It's a little bit more rockin'. It's a little bit more
shtick to it.
It's got more energy to it.
It's more 80s too.
Yeah, it's definitely more 80s. It's very 80s.
Very pop culture. It kind of gets pop culture 80s type thing. It starts to really like at that point, Friday the 13th kind of came like pop culture-y in that way. And I think still in the first 4, it was still just kind of they were just stumbling along like, well, we'll just continue the story. Because really, I mean, Friday the 13th, Part 2 through 4, it's just one weekend. You know, it's not really Friday the 13th anymore in any of those films because it's just the next day. Which is why Part 4 is so cool because it kind of I just love the way Part 4 starts off when you're like coming in, you see like the aftermath. It's such a great way to start the film.
I know where you're going. Your favorite part is Axel watching the girls in the weird dance.
Oh my god, that fucking Axel scene still makes me cringe. That is the best death in the whole series.
Yeah,
it's so fucking nasty. I love it. And then and Jason X is just a fucking beautiful, beautiful movie. I love it.
I mean, it was nominated for a bunch of awards, but it just, I don't know.
Were they Razzies or were
Razzies?
I'll never forget my experience seeing Jason X in the fucking theater. It was
theater. I didn't see it on a bootleg.
I saw it twice in the theater. There was no one. I got my dad, my brother, and my cousin to go see it. We're the only ones in the theater, and I literally almost pissed my pants laughing. I was like, "This is the best thing."
Growth came from.
It was so good. I remember those the Mad TV sketch they did with Jason in space, like back in like the mid '90s, and then they had there was rumors they were going to do something like that, and then it finally actually happened. So the first time I met Kane Hodder, I was a kid, and he came to Jason's Woods, like a local haunted attraction here, and I was like, I asked him about Freddy versus Jason. He's like, we did this other one where I'm in space. I kill everyone. You're gonna love it. I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, that movie's got like a 40-person body count. Like it's crazy.
Well, and how many people are on the station that blows up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want to count that too. It's such a stupid movie, but they knew they were making a dumb movie and they just ran with it.
I had a similar comment when I met Kane Hodder the first time. I was like, you had my favorite kill in a Jason movie. He's like, let me guess, it was the sleeping bag kill. And I was like, no, it was actually the face in the freaking water kill when you smash your face on the desk.
Oh, it was so cool. Look at
that. That's your favorite kill?
Let's
go on the table.
Liquid nitrogen kill.
That one's not bad. I've never been a big fan of the sleeping bag kill. It's good, but it's not my favorite.
That was his first. I was surprised he said that.
What's yours, Vin?
My favorite kill, it's Mark in Part 2, where he gets the machete to the face and then rolls backwards in a wheelchair down the stairs.
That's number 2 or 3 for me, but that's a great scene.
Yeah,
it's such a mean scene. That's such a mean fucking.
It is. It's like the meanest kill of all time. And then I just think about the additional like stunt performance of riding backwards down.
Oh my god.
Because there was somebody literally riding that. It's not a dummy. It's somebody in that chair. And like that for me is like, how did you not roll backwards and snap your neck in a million pieces?
Yeah, flip over and fall. Oh god, yeah.
Mike, did you say yours?
Yeah, I like. I think the See, I don't know. It's a toss-up because the hacksaw kill in Part 4. It's a hacksaw kill in Part 4. The Rolling Thunder, the wheelchair one's a contender, and the liquid nitrogen. Sleeping bag's in there somewhere too. I don't know. I like them all. Also,
I like the double sleeping bag from Jason X.
Yeah, well, Jason X's sleeping bag is actually better than Part 7's sleeping bag.
Let's have premarital sex.
What doesn't get enough love is the fucking flare down the throat in Part 5. That is a nasty scene. Yeah, that's an ugly scene too, but nobody remembers that.
Some of the kills.
I love that scene.
The best kill in Part 5 is not even done by Roy. It's when Vic kills Joey. So Vic does not want a fucking chocolate bar. Okay,
Vic.
For me, that's always Sheriff Garris. That's one of the first ones I saw when I was a kid. And hearing his back crack backwards.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. And then I've always liked, for some reason, when Jason in Part 3, which is probably one of my least favorite movies of the series, but when he gets the mask on for the first time and he's just standing on the edge of the dock looking at Vera, she's like, "Who are you?" And he just shoots her with the I don't really like that one.
Walking on the hands, that death's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I mean, Friday the 13th has no shortage of great kills though, in all of them. Because the one girl, it's not really a kill, but she gets, and Jason X gets sucked through the hole. This really sucks, whatever. I mean, that was pretty cool. I mean, you didn't really get to see much. It sucks because some of the cooler ones are off screen too, you know. And of course, Julius is one of the better kills from Vincent.
Manhattan.
Yep.
Although the guys are,
my favorite kill is the sauna rock.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Really just like fucking nasty, like, oh god.
Yeah.
I love it. That's my favorite Jason too, is Part 8 Jason. Just slimy, like covered in KY Jason.
What about his towel that he wears? His actual face. It looks like something my daughter drew, actually.
Well, here's the thing. He never looked good. All right. Every time he looks good, terrible. I'm sorry. It looks always bad. He looks ridiculous in Part 2. He looks ridiculous in Part 3. He looks ridiculous in Part 4.
Well, he looks like Warrington Gillette in Part 2. That's why he looks ridiculous.
That's funny.
That's why they got smart. The part in Part 8 where he just lifts his mask up at the guys and they just don't show it. It's like, we know this looks horrible, so we're just not going to show it.
That's another great moment in this series. It's like one of the best.
I still think the effects in Part 7, he looks the best.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, with the spine sticking out and stuff. Like his look. I mean, I like Part 8 because he's slimy, but Part 7, he definitely looks pretty amazing. That was like the best overall.
Did you see the outtake they had from Part 8 when Kane Hodder was wearing the dildo?
Yeah. Wait, what? Strap on or what?
Yeah, you never saw that? It's on the Crystal Lake Memories. Well, he pulls the hatch open from the beginning of the movie, and the girl's in there screaming or whatever. When he pulls it open, from her point of view, he's got a giant dildo on. You never saw that?
No, I'll have to check that out.
That was the first kill scene in the boat with the couple. Yeah.
That opening scene always bothered me too. Like that was a particularly sadistic death. Like getting impaled on the blunt end of a spear gun.
Yeah.
That's pretty gnarly, but then when he slowly pushes that spear into her stomach, like that bugged me out.
Mm-hmm, just slowly lowering it down. And she's like just wiggling in place.
Yeah.
Not like trying to move or grab it or swat it, like nothing. Just no.
Is that just like a storage thing? Because there was nowhere for it to call. Well, like why would you go into a place there's nowhere to get out of?
Well, here's the thing, Ray. If she would have jumped overboard, she would have gotten swept out of the ocean current.
That's true.
So the riptide would have taken her out to sea.
That's true. I mean, Crystal Lake is connected to the ocean, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be as cool if it was called Crystal Ocean, I guess.
Crystal Bay.
Crystal Bay.
Crystal Peninsula.
Crystal Light. That's where they bottle it, you know.
Do you think they have ice skating on Crystal Lake in the winter?
Totally.
Interestingly enough, that actually was the plot point of the remake that got canceled because our buddy Matt Falletta was doing the makeup designs for that. He told me that the way that they found that he gets his hockey mask in the new reboot is that there's like an island in the middle of the lake that's like a wooded area, and that's where he was like living. And the lake would freeze in the winter, and the kids would go ice skating, and so they'd play hockey. And all of them like lost the mask over there, and that's how he gets it. So that was their excuse for it.
The goalie mask.
Well, they were going to do one on when they're going to do the sequel to the 2009. That was supposed to also start on an icy patch, and I think there's kids ice skating, and Jason chases them across the thing and kills them because like the Whitney like bounces up against like the frozen ice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Those guys, when they write stuff, logic is not in their forefront of brain of like, wait, so she got pulled down to the water in June and she looks just like she did in June in fucking December and she's just floating up to the surface.
Well, I mean, it's just like Tina's dad in part 7. When
yeah, I know.
Jason down. He looks exactly the same as he did 10 years ago.
Like the thing is that like
logic of Friday the 13th.
But there was actually a version where he is all like deteriorated.
Oh yeah.
It was the producer who said, "I don't want it to do that. It should look like him." But my question is, that dude drowned underneath the dock. They couldn't find his body.
Right.
Like, he's still down there. Like,
or did Tina and her mom cover it up?
Oh, well, that's why she's going to therapy, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how nobody found him after part 6. He's just floating in the middle of the lake. It's like nobody like came across that. He's like
that's the other.
I can't imagine that part of the lake is very deep.
Yeah. No, there's no way.
That's another fan film I want to make. Is that it's like basically a cut to like the end of part 6, like an alternate ending where it's like 2 deputies standing on the end of the dock going, "Are you jumping in?" Like, they go, like, scoop them out and like, nah.
They missed a great opportunity in like part 7 where they could have had like police divers or something scouring, and then they get killed underwater. How fucking cool would that be?
That would be
badass. Dead scuba divers around the rock.
Yeah, Jason fucking like kills. That'd be badass. Or even better, you find out
cool short.
Crystal Lake has a series of underwater caverns that house a plesiosaur a la Loch Ness. So Jason fights the Loch Ness monster.
It's kind of like zombie
too. Or even better, even fucking better. There's a lake.
Here we go. We got his wheel spinning. Go.
Yeah, there's like a lake monster, and you find out that some of the kills that were attributed to Jason over the years actually weren't him. All these mutilated bodies. There's actually like a crypto or something under there.
It's like the Wendigo of Crystal Lake.
Yeah. Well, have you ever read the Friday the 13th novels that Black Flame put out?
Which one?
The Jason Strain by Krista Faust.
No. Yeah, we talked about these before, but now they're nowhere to be found now. They're so
like $100 a piece. They're expensive.
Someone wants to photocopy all the papers and send me.
Yeah, I'll photocopy it. It's he's
a chapter at a time.
And a great white shark is about to kill this girl surfing, and Jason walks across the ocean floor, grabs it, and rips its jaw off, and then comes out of the water. And the girl's like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, and he slices half of the jaw off the fucking shark.
Oh my god!
It is like the most fucking ludicrous thing I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, can you just take pictures with your phone of that book and send that? Just a mass email to all of us.
It's Battle Royale mixed with Friday the 13th and a zombie movie, because it's about like a reality show about death row inmates that have to fight each other to the death on a deserted island. And then there's a secret laboratory that's studying Jason's immortality, and then he's like oozing this black slime, and anything he kills turns into a fucking zombie. So it's just like 4 different. It's like the Dr. Butcher MD of the Friday the 13th universe.
So it's Zombie Holocaust meets Friday the 13th.
Meets that.
I don't want to say the last part because it's kind of rude. Anyway,
it needs to be seen to be believed. It is glorious. I'm like, why don't they just make a movie out of this? They got the perfect plot.
Fine. It's Friday the 13th. Meets Zombie Holocaust meets the Dark Military. What you're telling me?
I mean, I suppose.
Right. So hey, just to throw this out there, Keith messaged or chimed in again, said that's what we need is a winter Friday the 13th. I want to see Jason, kill people with icicles. Put someone's decapitated head on the top of a snowman.
That'd be funny. Actually, if anybody follows Gallo Goes to Hell, he does a lot of. He actually did a photo shoot with Ghost Jason doing a bunch of stuff, killing people with icicles. So if you haven't checked that out, maybe Keith, you probably know who he is.
Yeah, I follow his Facebook page.
Yeah. But for Keith out there, he posts stuff to us all the time. Can't miss it. Gallo Goes to Hell. They do a lot of funny stuff. They do some funny photos.
Yeah, he's got pretty much like every adaptation of the costumes, it seems like, and masks and stuff. We got a special guest.
Oh my God, is that a pot of chud you've got there, Ray?
Had a chud.
Butt of Chud. Say hi. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Do you know
I painted a likeness of you.
Look,
Butt of chud. I have to add the hair still, but
It doesn't like me at all.
doesn't look like her at all, she says. And the other person with us is Vince. You know what he did? He made Never Hike Alone. Okay. Go back in there.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What do you need?
She just wanted to say hi.
You creeping? Watch the doors right there. Go ahead. They don't have school tomorrow, so I'm letting them stay up late on a Thursday.
Friday off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
Anyway, do we want to wrap anything else, or do we wrap this up?
I think we covered everything.
Donna Castillo or Castello says, "Hey, Vincent."
Hello,
Vincent.
Donna.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get more viewers now that we're getting close to the end. That's funny.
Well, now they can go back and watch from the beginning.
Yeah, watch from the beginning. Subscribe to our channel here at the Horror Syndicate. All good time. You can go back and watch Vincent's first episode.
This is the fifth episode we've done just on YouTube. Wouldn't this technically be a new beginning, Ray?
Yeah, actually, you want to know something kind of interesting, Vince? This is our 13th episode of season 2.
Perfect.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until today, so it worked out pretty
you
cool.
picked the right one.
I know what I'm doing after this. I'm gonna have to go celebrate by finding some cursed artifacts.
Nice. Yeah, and then you can open up your own antiquity shop and then maybe solve all.
and hopefully get a half-ass DVD release like 15 years later.
Like this?
I have that. Yes.
Is it worth picking up? Does it hold up at all?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember it being stupid when I was a kid, and I'm like, I keep looking at it, and I'm like, this has got to be hilariously entertaining, but
The discs barely stay in the case. But you know what? I mean, it's worth it just to have this on your shelf. It's just really badass kind of looking.
Well, how much did you pay for that?
I can't remember. I didn't pay much. I remember because the reason why I haven't purchased it. Yeah. The reason why I haven't purchased it is because it was expensive. And then one day it was on Amazon and I was like, wait, what? I'm like, it's that much? It was like cheap. So I just grabbed it.
I'm gonna look right now. This happens to me every time we do a show. Is I find something I need to buy.
I was gonna say I bought Friday the 13th and Tales from the Dark Side at Best Buy and spent less than $40.
Really?
Tales from the Dark Side box set pisses me off because I was buying them as they released them in seasons. They were $40 a piece.
$29.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's not bad.
$29. $29.86. That's my guess.
That's like 50 hours of antiquities.
That's on Amazon. Yeah, I put in my cart.
You know, I'm gonna buy that and Baywatch Nights. Really get the perfect mix of 90s pseudo horror.
You can't go wrong with Baywatch Nights.
Yeah, and if anybody's looking for anything else to buy, remember the Never Hike Alone 2nd edition Blu-ray is going on right now on Indiegogo. We have t-shirts, pins, 3 pins left, soundtracks, posters, the Never Hike Alone Blu-ray, 5.1 surround sound, behind the scenes, commentary. If you're German, I got German subtitles. If you're Spanish, I got Spanish subtitles. I got French subtitles. I got English subtitles.
Look at you go.
Yeah, we got them all. This is like a professional, really. Ray will tell you.
I imagine now you just like open your phone with subtitles.
Yeah, you want subtitles? Where are you from?
I have the original release, and it looks great. The features are they're almost as good as the features on I'm Dreaming of White Doomsday Blu-ray. I got to give Mike props. He went fucking buck wild on
Yeah, we have standard cases. We don't have colored cases, which is something.
Take
the new case has one of the biggest reasons I wanted to support the Indiegogo events, but the cover art is different, and that's why, because I'm a ridiculous collector. Like for instance, I got, what is it? There's a newer Blu-ray of Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, is it the one with Jason on it?
The false advertising.
Yeah, I saw that at Walmart. I'm like, wait, which one is this?
Yeah, and it's like it's the original movie, which of course Jason does not have his mask for 2 more movies. But I bought it because
Jason in a jacket too, and it's a jacket, Jason.
Right.
Yeah.
Is not in any of the movies.
When you're camping, it's cold out there.
Yeah. Especially in the
It's just
winter.
funny because it's like not even close to like the design until it became a New Line film. So it's not even a Paramount Jason on the cover. It's a New Line cover on the Paramount film.
Yeah, because is that from the Freddy vs. Jason?
No, it actually started in Jason X. If you look, what Jason's wearing in Jason X is actually a torn jacket.
Well, Jason X has the worst mask ever, and I'm not talking about the Uber Jason. I'm talking about the actual.
It is an odd-looking mask.
The nose is really bizarre. He's got it's like he had a Michael Jackson nose job surgery.
Really flat. Yeah. Had the Michael Jackson look.
I like the way he looks. I like the makeup, like on his actual the sides of his head, because it actually looks like it's like gross, and I don't know. The effects there are good, but the mask looks funky. Looks kind of like a homeless man in Jason X.
All the masks are different. All the masks are different. What's your favorite mask?
Mine?
Yeah, everybody. Because you gotta have a favorite. Shut up, Mike.
I swear to God, I love it. It's
because it's like pushed into his face.
It's like embedded in his body.
Yeah.
He looks like a Halloween costume, but I love it.
He does.
My favorite mask is actually the one from the Part 5 dream sequences.
Oh, okay.
Especially the one when he's in the when he's outside the window and he's at the end of the bed,
staring at Tommy from the outside the window.
Yeah, I mean that I don't know, that for me is it. I mean, I think that's cool. I really
is
like
that a play on the Part 6 mask? Well, I guess
Part 4. No, it's a legit it's Part 4 reused again. Okay. It's just slight changes, just slight
one of them is bloodier too, isn't it? Like
yeah, so it gets bloodier throughout the film, and in the first scene, which this one I think is from, or the first 2 scenes. Because there's one where like the other one is when he's standing behind him in the room with the axe. That part freaked me out. But if you notice, this is the only mask, and if you watch it, there's 2 different masks that are used in that film for that Jason. There's one with the straps on the inside. See how it's not on the thing? It's like it's clean on that, and then they moved to one where the straps are on the outside. It's a really odd continuity error that they did that, and I don't understand why. But I always thought it was kind of cool that they were on the inside.
Yeah, I mean, you could always just say because it was a dream.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It doesn't have to really line up. And this is, if anybody's interested, this is a Crash Cunningham mask, which he does really good stuff. But it's one of my favorites.
Nice. I mean, what about you, Jared? What's your favorite?
My favorite mask?
Yes. Part 7, Part 6. I personally like the Roy Burns quite a bit.
I do like the Roy Burns with the blue chevrons, but at the same time, I do like Part 6 because it's a little bit muddier.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like my tattoo the best. That's my best mask because it has everything all in one.
I like if the Part 8 mask wasn't fluorescent yellow, then I'd love that one, I think, the best. Oddly bright. It doesn't make any sense. I think they tried to.
Yeah, you got a point. It is a lot brighter.
I got my little masks up here. I don't know if you can see them all. My room's a mess, so I don't want to show too much. But I'd like to add a going down the wall a Savini Jason from the game, under the Freddy vs. Jason, and then I'd like to add a Never Hike Alone Ghost Jason under there.
Well, we're still cranking them out. Sculptor Die. Helping us out.
I love the masks.
Yes, we're picking those out too. Yeah, we'll get you one.
Like the Savini design in the game, I thought looked kind of shitty. I was not a fan of that skin.
The Savini?
Yeah, it's just the Hell Jason. I don't know. He looks a little too goofy.
His music is amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. Actually, I like the 8-bit Jason the best of
that's the other one I get.
The NECA Jason.
Yeah,
I by that Jason.
I loved like so we were playing the game with me and Lex, and I'd always use that skin, and everyone gets so mad because it completely ruins the tone of the game. Everyone's like hiding, and then you just hear like Nintendo music start. This big fucking purple.
Yeah, no, I think I felt the same way every time I'd hear it. I'd be like creeping through the woods, and it, however it goes, like fuck. Before even the glitch would happen, you'd hear that fucking music, man. My son still plays that game. Vince, you still play the game?
I haven't played it in a long time, but I've been meaning to get back into it to reconnect myself.
It didn't work out as well for me, but back in December, I think, me, Brian, Mike, I don't remember if you did or Jared, but we got on and played with Renee Rivas from Spirit of Head. You know Renee. You don't have to explain who it is to you.
Who? No,
I know, right? Who is that dude? Which I'm very disappointed he didn't watch while we were live. He was scratching with the little records. I saw that on his live feed. Thanks a lot, Renee.
DJ. What was it? Brother Bear.
We've had him on the show.
Brother Bean.
Is that his DJ name, Brother Bear?
No, Brother Bean. It was a band he was in, I think.
Ah.
Is that what his DJ name is, Brother Bean?
DJ Brother Bean? That would actually be a DJ name. I don't think it's Brother Bean.
That's actually his barista name.
That'd actually be a great coffee place.
Brother Bean?
Brother Bean.
Well, if the movie thing doesn't work out for Navy, you can open up a coffee shop.
Yeah, the game, I don't know what, the game got so fucking annoying with people. Like, it was really fun at first, and then, you'd be in the middle of a game, and then you hear, like, a 13-year-old arguing with his mom in the background, and then...
Yeah, that's probably Reynolds, actually.
Yeah, they're probably just like, you faggot! How you fucking killed me! And they'd quit. And like ruin they would be hosting and they'd quit the room if you killed them, and then you'd have to start over, and it just really pissed me off. So we stopped playing. Yeah. Also paying like $25 a month for like the fucking internet service for the PlayStation was bullshit.
It was every 3 months. Come on.
But is it like what's even going on with the game? Like, is there a single player option now? Is that like
there's a single player? I mean, basically they installed the single player option right before they got shut down. That was like basically what took all their energy. That's why we didn't get Paranoia. That's why we didn't get 2 additional Jason skins. It's like there were other kills that were still being. I mean, I was there for the second round of kills, and there was a lot of stuff that didn't make it in. A lot of stuff that did, but at the same time, I'm glad my kill got in there. But yeah, if you get to level 125, free kick. You're welcome.
I have to see how far my son is on that. He was playing it earlier. I see him, and it makes me not want to play it because of how good he is. He's 10. But, like, I see what happens with his games because his gaming area is in the living room, basically. And I'll see him in the middle of a match, like taunting Jason. Come on, Jason. Come on, Jason. And all of a sudden, he gets kicked, or the whatever, whoever was the host or whatever, quits and totally ruins the whole game. And that's one of the things that really pissed me off. Mike and Jared, remember there was a few times we got in a couple matches together and had 7 or 8 people that we knew, which was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But now they fixed it. They have the dedicated servers, so if they quit, they quit.
Okay, that's good. Well, like
so the dedicated servers, yeah.
People learn how to like game the system basically. So when you are Jason, like there's like they just surround you with like firecrackers, and then it's not fun anymore. Like everyone's like, oh, why are you hiding there? You need to be like at this exact pixel on the bridge or something, and he can't hit you. And everyone's like doing exploits.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
It was annoying.
Yell at people. They tell you to get good.
Yeah, they leave. But like I had to drive the car twice, and the entire time Lex had the game, I got to drive the car twice because people would just go in. They'd kill you if you wouldn't give them the keys, and then take the keys, and then they would just leave without helping anybody.
Well, now they can't kill you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't kill each other anymore. Counselors can't kill counselors. You can hit each other, but you just turn bloody, but nothing happens to you.
Wow,
they fixed that. So they tried. There's still glitches. They still can't get that all the way down, but they still update it and try to get rid of that stuff. There was a glitch for a while where like the car you'd be driving, all of a sudden you would just like ping pong off the road and be like upside down, be like, and it would like flip. So there's still like crazy stuff that happens, but I think for the most part, and they keep playing with the nerfing and what's the opposite of nerf when somebody's too. What is it? What do they call it? I'm not up on it. Anyway, it's like nerf, and then he's like, yeah. So or he's too powerful. So they keep going back, and everyone keeps arguing because, like, yeah. I mean, the counselors have become the bully of the game. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing because, like, you'd be in a lobby, and you just want to play, but then you got somebody being like talking so much shit, it just makes it not fun anymore. Because you want to kill them so bad, but you can't because of the way the game's designed. Like every time you grab somebody knocks, they knock them out of the hand, and you're just like, son of a bitch.
No, it was frustrating. Like when it first came out, it was like other fans, so it was like fun because people were like recreating moments from the game from there, and that was cool. And then slowly,
gamers took over.
Internet got there, and it was just.
And
I had it's the one time they just kept calling me a fag because I killed them all as Jason, so they got pissed off. So it turned into this like just really, really vulgar, like hateful thing. So I just went at him like I was just being as disgusting as humanly possible, and they couldn't boot me from the server because that wasn't an option yet. So these kids are screaming for me to quit, like trying to get me to quit, and I was talking about like fisting my cousin and shit. Like it was just, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I got banned from Facebook because I posted the story. It's the only time I was in Facebook jail. Yeah, I went to Facebook jail for a couple days.
Huh.
It was disgusting. It was so great. Then at the end of it, I finally said, I'm like, guys, this is why you should be nice to people on the internet, because you might end up in a room with a fucker like me. They all apologized, and I'm like, they'll never do that again.
Oh my god. Well, I get now we didn't cover everything when we were getting ready to stop a few minutes ago because we forgot about the game. So
we got into it, but it's all good. This has been great, guys. It's been a while, but I'm glad you guys.
Well, last time we had John, we did pretty much a straight up interview, and I wanted you to come out. Like Renee got to hang out with us and talk when Halloween 2018 came out, and I don't know if you know Nathan Thomas Milliner. He's done a couple films and does a lot of art for Anyway, he comes on and it's bullshit. Sometimes it's just fun to talk about horror films and and Chucky and bad Pet Sematary movies. By the way, after I saw Pet Sematary in the theater, I came home and immediately watched the Edward Furlong Pet Sematary 2 as like a palate cleanser because I was not happy.
I think part 2 is
I
great.
didn't know part 2 was made by Mary Lambert, the same person.
Yeah, I just found that out like a week ago too. I was like, no shit, I didn't know.
Well, and then one of the best parts about that movie was the bully kid with the Legend of the Creeds. I love that part. But anyway, I'm glad we got to talk to you, Vince. It was nice seeing you. It's been a long time. I can't wait to get my new copy of Never Hike Alone. By the way, Never Hike Alone, for those who are on the fence about purchasing the Blu-ray, Never Hike Alone looks great on a 4K TV, according to Keith Saunders. It looks great on Blu-ray on a regular whatever my TV is too. It's nice to have all that in one. Plus, it looks good in the collection along with the other Friday the 13th movies.
It does.
So if you're a collector like me and you love Friday the 13th, because I got like so many editions of Friday the 13th, so that's why I needed another one of Never Hike Alone. I was trying to hit him up for a full DVD release just to have a DVD, but I may have to do that on my own since I do have.
We might. I'm going to talk to the people who I have print the stuff because I did get some requests for DVDs. Like we had some broken cases, so I had some extra discs that ended up just going on a spool because I had to give just cases. I wasn't going to give them like another set of discs, and I was like, oh, this might come in handy. So I actually did like send out 6 DVDs because people just wanted DVDs this time around. But I'm going to talk to them and say, can you print me like a spool of 50? And then I'll just put them in like a clear case and send them to people and be like, listen, I can't really dress it up that much, but like I can at least give you a DVD so you have it. And, I want people to have it. I want people to have it in their homes if they want it. And I'll, like I said, like this whole time, anytime fans ask and there's a logical and, there's definitely a direct path to do it, I'll try to figure it out and do it. So.
Yeah, because my son definitely wants his own copy and he only has DVD right now.
Okay. You could release through Kanaki. They do print-on-demand DVDs. They're like $2 or $3 a pop.
How's the quality?
100. They don't do them in bulk. But they're cheap and the quality is good. It's a single-layer DVD. It's not dual layer though. It's no problem.
Yeah, no, I think, but I'm going to talk to these guys because I can print them pretty cheap, and they have my master. So, so as long as we have those pieces, we're in good shape.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and end this pretty great show. Vince, you're a great guest. Love to have you on again sometime.
Love being here, guys.
Well, let me ask before we go. You doing any cons this year?
I'll have to figure it out. I just missed. I worked a short film, so I missed Monster Palooza this year. I felt so bad because I saw everybody's posts. I'm like, God, I wish I was over there. But I don't know. Like I'm gonna try and make it out to the Horror Hounds again.
I'll be there in Indy in September. Yeah,
I'm probably going to be heading out there in Indy. This September and October, I'm going to try to go to Telluride Horror Show. I'm going to be at Nightmares Film Festival, and some of the other fun ones, and you're going to get out there. But it's out there, and like if you are at a festival, if you know people at festivals, and you want a Never Hike Alone presence, we'll still do screenings. I mean, we'll go out there with a Blu-ray or a DCP. We'll do it anyway. We're still looking for places that we can play Never Hike Alone for people and expand our screenings library. So if anybody wants to do that, and even if it's not part of a convention, say like, hey, I got a local theater, we're going to rent Friday the 13th Part 6, and then we want to do a double feature with Never Hike Alone. We've done that before too. It's a really great night. We can do things for raffle prizes. We supply posters and pictures and signed autographs and things like that. So we can really make it a special night for everybody. We just did one in South Carolina. Joe Gallo did one at Track Cinema. We did one in Maricopa, Arizona at Ultrastar. They've been really, we found that they've been really successful, especially when you pair them with one of the franchise films, a double feature night, which we all know. We've gone to them. They're a lot of fun. So if anybody's looking to do that, just reach out to us at contact@wompstompfilms.com and we'll hook it up.
Yeah, Never Hike Alone. Jared and I got to watch. We actually got to sit next to Vince during the screening at Horror Hound, and it plays well with the crowd.
Mm-hmm. So. I mean, that was my biggest dream when I made it. I was like, this will be nice. We'll release it online, but if we get to play this with like a Friday the 13th crowd one day, that'd be really cool. And now I've done it with about like 3 dozen crowds, which is pretty cool.
You got lucky at Horror Hound and got to play it right after the Kane Hodder documentary, which kind of worked out pretty well. It seemed like.
Yeah, I wanted to kiss Jason Hignite in the mouth because I was like, that's perfect. Everyone's gonna be down there for Kane. You gave me the best lead in I could possibly have. Like Kane Hodder is your opening act. Like
great segue.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But anyway, so we'll wrap this up. Jared, do you want to let them know where we can find you?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at @zombie_survivor. Thanks, Vince, for joining us again. It was fun to actually just bullshit about horror for a little bit.
Oh yeah, man. I can bullshit about horror anytime.
All right, Mike, tell us where we could find your movie. Come on, get it over with.
Well, I'd like to do that, Ray, but instead, you can find I'm Dreaming for White Doomsday, the best post-apocalyptic Christmas movie you're apt to see. I know there's so many of them, but ScreamTeamReleasing.com, also Amazon.com if you want to take advantage of that Prime membership. And you can find me at ReelSplatter.com. That's real with 2 E's, like a reel of film, because we shoot digitally. And currently you can find me slaving away over these stupid fucking Santa ornaments that I wish I had never done. Back to you, Ray.
All right. And Vince, go ahead and we know about the Indiegogo. Anything else you want to promote?
Yeah, keep an eye out for Pathosis later this year by Austin Bonang. We'll be bringing it to a festival near you. We'll post it when we do that. And just thank you everybody who's already contributed to the Blu-ray campaign. And we have 2 or 3 more weeks. May 4th is the last day. So make sure you get it before then. We extended it nice and long. So this time I didn't get any but I didn't see it. Like if you didn't see it this time, I don't know what else I can do. I'm sorry, but we'll have extra ones we can do orders afterwards. But let's get this down. Help us get a couple more projects done. We're ready to start making some new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't already follow the social media pages of Womp Stomp or Never Hike Alone, you probably should go do that now.
Yeah, at Womp Stomp Films on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We post fun stuff all the time. Right now, it's mostly campaign stuff, but you'll see behind the scenes footage. You'll see, especially when we start doing new productions, you're gonna see new production stuff, all the new toys we're playing with, and all of our new crew members.
Yeah, and I think I can speak for everyone, and we can't wait to see the next the next entry into the Never Hike Alone universe.
We can't wait to show it. We cannot wait.
Anyway, for everyone else, good night. Thanks for joining us who did, and whoever watches us later, start watching live.